people. So unless you have a real connection, nothing could be done, and that is why it's so essential. It is not about teaching the AI, but it is about understanding the AI through NVC. As we are more focused on NVC, we would like to know how the AI lives in us through this process of NVC.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Thank you.
Eva Kingas also says that the Zoom doesn't work. At least they can try it on the phone. I think it works. Is it working for you, Samu?
Zoom?
Are you on the Zoom?
Yes, I'm on the Zoom. It works for me.
I
For
don't
me
know
also,
what, I don't know, Chris.
Yeah, but
Chris
Kinga
and
also says
everyone.
that. Yeah,
Which Kinga?
Kinga also says that, huh? Just on the WhatsApp, she just now sent a message.
Yes, I respond to her. I don't know why it looks like Zoom works only on the phones. I have no idea. It seems to me this is a problem of Zoom and not the link.
Yeah, probably, yeah. But I think Sama says that she's working, she's on Zoom, and you are on Zoom, aren't you?
But Chris, Zoom, are you on your phone or are you on your computer?
Oh, on my phone. I'm on my phone.
Yes.
I tried the laptop, it doesn't work.
Yes, that's the problem. It looks like Zoom doesn't work on the laptop, but works only on phones. But someone already, Iris, thank you for writing to Kinga. It works only on phone. I hope she has a smartphone. Chris, do you have an answer for why this DEI got so popular? Or would you recommend me not to bother with it? But just to stay with it? Is it important to understand why is it causing so much challenges in our network?
I think you see the DEI maybe has also a political dimension. So first of all, it is important for us to understand what DEI is for NVC and how does that fit in and how does that need to be shaped. And also to be able to connect with the people who are proposing DEI, because I hear that some people are actually in IITs teaching DEI, than NVC. So
Excuse me, Chris. DI is a compulsory subject on IITs these days.
well, that is also proposed by just a DI proponent, but and that is that also need to be questioned because I mean, who who are these people who coming on IITs and what is their qualifications to design IIT because IIT has been designed by Marshall, and if you want to make any changes, you need to have the uh, at least the consensus of all the trainers.
Excuse me, I don't know what DI mean.
DEI means diversity, equality, and inclusion,
Okay.
which I believe all three are important in uh, relationships in to inclusivity and equality and things like that. But so suppose that also is connected to this privilege, you know, people not willing to connect because they think someone has more power and someone has more privilege, but there's no reason for not connecting. So we need to understand what DEI means in the context of NVC and be able to implement it in that sense, not the political sense.
Father, I'm
Anyone has?
hearing,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
can I check that I'm hearing the people you say they are not willing to connect? Is it somehow they are they close their heart? Is it something not they are not open
Well,
or and
not
they are
it's. I don't know whether we could judge that, but I think what is happening is they are mostly talking in their head about reasoning things, So,
mm.
but for any connection, you need to really open your heart to be able to empathic to each other. Otherwise, even the reason doesn't make any sense. So that's why I say it's important for us to recognize the value of diversity, inclusion, and equality. But in the context of NVC, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, for me, isn't it that it's all needs? If we just simply connect to MVC, is all three needs. Diversity,
Yes.
equality, and inclusion is needs.
Yeah. So we need to talk about them in terms of needs, yeah. And how do we assist in the fulfillment of those needs? So, so any discussion also should in the context of NVC, in the form of NVC. Any ideas? I'm sure all of you will have your own ideas about DEI.
Chris, I come from
What
an
do you think, Iris? And yeah, yeah.
I come
Go
from an
ahead, Eva.
ex-communist country, socialist.
Mhm.
I have the impression we have different challenges. We were not part of that kind of oppression. Like it was not the colonizer and the colonized countries. We oppressed each other.
Yeah.
And our answer is different. So that's why I am so upset with CNVC, like the PRC making a decision on each IIT, a DEI informed trainers should be there, at least 2 of them, because I don't have the sense for us who were not part of this colonizing system. We don't have blacks and whites. Yes, we have gypsies, but it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
It's our problems, our oppression system manifest in different ways. And it seems to me like this comes from US and it's very political from the Democrats and the Republicans, and it's a good this DEI, it's a good business in the trainer business. Like if those who run trainings, people are earning millions of dollars because of running DEI trainings in companies. So whenever politics comes in the education system, then sorry, shit happens.
Yeah.
So it's and unfortunately it become part of CNVC leadership. We are 2 Americans. I didn't have the impression when I was in China, but there are some Chinese people here. DEI was such a big issue for them. Because, if you live in China, you have different challenges and not this DEI thing. And when those who want equality, I would like to know, do you want equal chances or do you want equal outcome? I lived in a country where everyone should have the same gray coat. Okay, it was not in my childhood, a little earlier, but is that what you want when you want equality? Or do you want equal chances? And it's so, when there are so, I don't know the Hungarian statistics, but we are close to have more women having university degrees than men. Who do we want to support? In which area? So it's, with this equality, I have a lot of problem, but that's all.
Yeah. So also, I think CNBC sort of putting all these things automatically as if they have power to do that doesn't make sense too. You see, because the IIT especially is designed by Marshall, and if you want to make changes like that, I mean, for me, it is very unfair if someone comes for the IIT and really teaching DEI. So should we continue with DEI, or is there any other questions?
Someone who has easy access to WhatsApp, would you please read the question of Eric? I read it, but it's not clear to me, so I am not an authentic person to read it up. And I am leaving home, so I can listen only for a while.
Yeah, let me read it. Just a moment. Eric wrote last time Father Chris, I believe, said all is love. I hear that a lot in the New Age and Christian traditions. For me, it is just energy. Maybe they are referring to the same thing, but it feels different to me. So Eric is so curious about that.
Is there a question from Eric?
Yes. Is it question or you are curious about that, Eric, and you want to explore here? Or you want to hear something from Father? Yeah, maybe hear something from you, Father Chris, about.
Yeah, I mean, that is that I also believe love is an energy, and that is sort of a prime energy actually, because we at least we say God is love. So 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 that is the prime energy. So so it is not just a new age. I think it's old tradition and tradition in practically all faiths that the energy of love that really sustains and creates this world and the reality that we live in. So, anything more that you want to? So, in VC also is deal with the same thing. The energy of needs that we call is really is the energy of uh, it's it also is the same energy that we are talking about. The primal energy that moves into life. Iris, you have any ideas? Any or you, Eric?
Yeah, I'm wondering how Eric, after you hear from Father, yeah, he wrote something in WhatsApp. Yeah. Eric's replies, yes, for me, it feels like a primal energy, not specifically love.
Yeah, that's what. He agrees with what we're talking, isn't it? Yeah. Is there someone in Helsinki who is up for exploring? Oh no, this is something else. That's from the WhatsApp stuff. So, what more can we say about that? So, I think it's a very good question in the sense of what Eric wants to probably talk about is when we say need, how does that really uh, live in us, this need? Is it living in us as a loving energy, or is it living in us uh, of fulfilling some desire or some agenda? You see? So that has to be. And certainly, it's a very good question in the sense of it's if, as NVC, as we are learning MVC and living and practicing MVC, that we clearly understand what this need means. Could we maybe have some common understanding of the need? Maybe we could really express what.
Father,
So far, what
I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering for you, this love energy, is it a need for
It is
you?
need, yeah.
Is a need. So you have the need of having this love energy. Is it that?
Not the need of love energy. Need is the expression of love energy. It's an energy of love. So actually, which energy that moves us. So that is why it need to be um, uh, fulfilled in the sense of you need to connect to this need. You need to be in connection with the energy that comes, that is core energy of your being.
Mm.
Eva has gone.
So I'm hearing it is like being in this love energy and alive, that like the aliveness
Yeah.
is a being. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm. Thank you.
I think Robert Gonzalez also, I think, who very often talked about the energy of need. That means he uh, he describes need as an energy that lives in us. And when we say that we need to fulfill our needs, it simply means that we need to be connected to this energy. Eric, you have any other ideas on this? Pity Eric is having problem with his voice for a long time. Isn't he? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Iris, you're on mute. Are you?
Yeah. Eric wrote that. Sorry. It is
Yeah.
not easy for me to communicate.
Yeah, no, he's having this problem for some time now.
Chris, I
Yeah.
just would like to really take in when I say my need is fulfilled, I am connected with this energy within me.
Mhm.
And when I say my need is unfulfilled, I am not connected with this energy.
That's correct. Yeah. So I think that's why it's very important for us to understand more clearly what do we mean by need. So uh, everyone who wants to uh, delve into NVC need to be able to say clearly what do they mean by need. And I think you've suggested that we have our own list of needs.
Please repeat, I didn't get this. We have our own list of needs?
That we need to have our own list of needs. What do we mean by need, and what are our needs that we're talking about?
Sorry, Chris. Recently, I just had a big issue with my beloved Anya Garbach because I said I would, in my own gentle way, I would never put this word on my need list. And so then I hear some encouragement for each of us to find our own need word. And Chris, do you agree with the idea of each of us has the same need? We may use different words.
Yes, that's true. Language is a problem. Language is always a problem. So, and also what I mean by my need is also maybe not the same thing that you may understand to be. So, what I mean by my having your own list means that you know what the need is and how does it become really the energy that is core of your being, so how does it connect to your being? So just you might have some desire, some wish. Will that be just a need, or is there something behind that, what you call need, another energy, something much more fundamental?
Chris, we lost your face. Can you fix your camera because
Yeah.
we see only the ceiling of the.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. So it is important to more clearly what your needs are and what you mean by the needs, and how do you understand these needs. I mean, this will be, I think, a very useful tool to deepen our understanding of NVC.
And
I have a question related to needs.
Yes.
That some for example, positive discipline says that there are two basic needs. It is belonging and significance, to be important, so significance. And as I know, Eva Rambala says that, and many other thinkers think that belonging is not a need. I think it's my interpretation that because it would depend on another person, or I don't know. So, what is your view, Chris, about is there deeper needs, or is what do you think
Sorry,
about this?
Kinga, belonging is on my need list.
Yeah, then
Kinga,
I'm confused with you with
sorry,
somebody
belonging
else.
is on
Okay.
my need list, and okay.
Maybe other people said it. I don't know. But what do you think about these two major needs, belonging and significance?
So I'm sure
Excuse
that
me,
every
excuse
one
me,
of us. Go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead.
Kinga, I would like to emphasize positive discipline comes from a viewpoint of how to teach teachers and parents how to relate to their children. Because for me, this is very important to emphasize. This is, they look through the lenses when you are a teacher, how to relate to your students, to see they want to belong and they want to experience their significance. Am I accurate?
Tell you the truth, they use it even for couple therapy. So they develop it for many other area, not only education.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know this.
US kind of simplification of the, because you don't, so I just wondering about that. It's make it simpler that you have only two needs and not have to wonder of many. So I don't know, but they teach it. There is also training for leaders within positive discipline for leaders of companies.
This is in the US, is it?
It was developed in the US, but originally Austrian philosophy, Adler, individual psychology.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but what I'm trying to say is that whatever that you call need, that you need to have a clear understanding, at least for yourself. And when you say belonging is an important need, what do you mean by belonging? So this one you could go very much deep into the thing and to find out that really is it a need, or is something that is there is something that is behind it that is more important. I think when you say significance, you mean by mattering, isn't it? I matter. This is that Black Lives Matter. All that thing comes with them also. So some of them are deeply connected with politics also. Just like I think DEI also is very much how the US understanding of DEI is very much connected to the politics, which does not apply really in other countries.
Father, significance and belongings to me, it could be need and also could be strategy. If it is the energy inside of me, I long for significance, long for belongings, it is need. If I point to, I want to belong this community or this family, this group, it is a strategy then. It is not need anymore. Yes.
So that's good to go deeper into what we mean by these words.
Yeah.
Language is very, very tricky.
I have checked like now in the website to search in relate to positive discipline. Belonging is connection enough from them. And the core idea is the child can feel like I'm seen, I'm wanted, I matter to the people around me. And significance is kinds of capability and contribution. So the core idea is I am capable, I can handle challenge, and my actions makes a difference. This is what I just searched from the website. So I feel like this is kinds of like an belief, like wanting to input the positive belief in the child so that they feel they are matter. They can cultivate the aliveness of this belonging as a need. Yeah, this is what comes in me after I read this.
Yeah, belonging also could be uh, like connection, you see.
Yeah.
For any child to survive, it's important that they see that they are connected. You know, that's why a child that is born that is not being touched, not being really expressed this connection and feeling, then it might be very difficult for the child to and it could die actually if they're without this.
Yeah, but I'm wondering this is specially designed for a child like in education or parenting, but in the point of view, I guess like maybe about you further, for you, what is this
Yeah.
alive energy living in you? For example, belonging. How how is it living in you to meet this need
Belonging
of
for me,
belonging?
for me is for me belonging is for me is mainly is connection. That
Mm.
I'm not alone. I am connected. I'm in a community or whatever that you may call. You know, that's why we say that loneliness is a huge scourge on people who feel dejected, depressed because they don't need this. Their need for really connection is not fulfilled.
Mm.
So for any growth, I think we say that what Marshall says that giraffe juice in the sense of this appreciation, connection, and love, and care is an important element for all human beings.
Chris, I have no words how grateful I am for this sentence. I don't have a need for belonging, but connection. Because it solved something to me. Am I interrupting you, Iris, now? Chris, my
Yeah,
favorite, again, we can't see your face, only the ceiling.
yeah,
Thank you. My favorite audience is IT guys. And what I've learned from IT guys, energy is what you can heat with, you can measure in kilojoule, and you can organize it in Excel file. Do you have any idea how can I explain to these guys what is a need?
yeah.
Or just to give up on them?
No. they are IT, but they are human beings. No, so it sort of makes them realize what energy means. Yeah, of course, since they are talking about IT for them, it's energy is maybe this IT stuff, but energy is fundamentally it is our own being. We are alive because of this energy, that our connection to this primal energy that we are alive today.
Thank you, Chris.
For me, like this energy, I would relate to in Chinese, there is Qigong. So there's Qi in the body, which I can feel it. So it is something I can't measure in the unit or name, but I can feel. So then from this foundation, I would feel it is a chi moving, circulating in my body. For example, if the arriving energy is love, then I am like cultivating this chi as love. If I am the need is like connection, then I can like connecting and with this chi in my body. So then I'm meeting my need of connection, something like that. So in general, I will call this is embodying MEC. And if like what Father say, everything the need is in the status of connecting this alive energy, then it becomes simpler because maybe at one breath, then if I have connected to this need, then my need is met. I don't need to rely on everyone, any strategy. And if the need of love is not met, I am most likely in the head level. Then I take some time to breath again and to connect back. Then my need will met again. So this is all within my choice of whether I can sit and breathe and connect to this energy.
Yeah. Any response? Energy, what is Tao in Chinese?
Sorry,
Tao, Tao.
Tao is like, yeah, it's the like Buddhism, they have Taoism. Is another wisdom,
Yeah, but
I will say.
what does it mean?
Like the
Yeah.
yin yang. Tao is talking about yin yang and the balance harmony in the universe. So like for example in the body, if we the yin and yang is 50-50, then we have no sickness and we are healthy and our energy is floating smoothly. But usually we will like sometimes over the yin over and yang is less. Yeah, that idea is very like so simple, but it's so difficult to be with that status, to be that in that status.
Because because Tao begins saying the Tao that you say Tao is not the Tao.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means it is something that cannot be defined. And it's the same thing with conscience. Conscience is also something that you cannot define, because once you define it, becomes the object. It's a subject.
Yeah, they actually their wisdom is very similar to you. Like Father say, always say, we are not practicing MEC. We are being living MEC. And in Tao, like we don't do anything, but indeed we did do so many things. But we are not meaning to do it, but we will do it. Like be present, we will not say I need to be present now. I'm just be present. So it's kinds of
Yeah.
like strategy in MEC. I will break it like strategy, like what Summer just say. If this become what I want, then it's a strategy. If this is a being, an energy, then that is a need. That is an energy. Yeah, the
But I also
presence
feel that,
energy of the
but
meeting need.
NVC is also similar to that, because you cannot really define it. It's Do we have any other questions that we want to look into? Iris, are you on your laptop or you're on your computer?
On my phone, it's not working
Oh,
too.
on computer it doesn't work. Okay. And I thought
Yeah.
it was behind.
Maybe I have the questions
Yeah.
like regarding what you say you are discussing about the DEI. Actually, I am quite I'm quite in the brain level. Whenever there's a power over
Mm.
happening, I can't get back to present so easily. Of course, it's okay to know everything, but it's not so easy to be always in that status. So I'm wondering how like you or Summer or Eva deal with this. You are part of like CNVC member, and for me I feel, oh, it's lucky that I'm logged in this power system. I really hate these kinds of systematic things and the power over things. Of course, on one side, my brain tell me that, oh, because you are still not living in your fullness, so you're not so easy to feel free or ease. But I'm so wondering, how are you feeling? Or I heard from Eva, maybe she have some emotions on that. Then how do you deal with it?
So I think it is what concerns us is the IIT, for instance. It's a sort of a prime thing that in NVC, very important part of the IIT, I mean the NVC practice or learning tool is an IIT. And I think that has been designed by Marshall. And if you start sort of tampering with it and start, changing things, then of course it becomes the whole sense of the organization is lost. So, if there is an organization of NVC, which is CNVC, we say, it has to be be aligned with the process of NVC. If it becomes just a commercial venture, then of course it loses its integrity.
Mm.
So I'm sure everyone will be disturbed when they go for an IIT training and someone comes and talks about DEI and starts teaching how to do DEI. Then of course you lose the whole process. Of course, it doesn't it doesn't really affect us in a personal level, but in the organization, when you think of the organization, that you really feel sad that that we don't have a clear understanding and the process is not obvious and present in the organization.
Mm.
Father Chris, may I ask one question?
Yes.
So I just need and hi everyone. I've been listening for a little while. Came joined a little later after the call started. My question and rather clarification is this. What I'm hearing from you is that, especially when we are talking about DEI, that how the Marshall has designed IITs and how the CNVC, which is, if I may say, the holding organization of that work, and now in last, I guess, in a couple of years, we are bringing this DEI, and whichever way it is coming, uh, somewhere it is. Uh, it's almost like not really being an integrity of how the NVC consciousness and NVC has been, kind of uh, thought and evolved and practiced. And now suddenly, when we say, "Oh, are we doing DEI?" it is like something different. It's like a different flavor, and it's a big word. We can all have flavor, but NVC also has its own flavor. So it's like tempering with the flavor. That's how I am kind of understanding it. Please correct me if my understanding is not accurate on what I heard.
Actually, that it's not. I don't think for me it's not a flavor. I will say there are two different paradigms.
Right.
They
Okay.
don't align, and therefore that's why. I mean, if you want to bring in DEI into NBC, then you need to find what does DEI mean in the context of NBC, and how do you implement it in NBC. Those are the things first we need to explore, because DEI, at least it is done in the US, it's mainly political struggle that they are. So when you bring into NBC and say this is how NBC has grown into this, of course, that we have to accommodate it, and you need to really sit and look into how does this align with NVC, and because NVC itself has all these functions of inclusion, equality, and equality and diversity. All these is included in NVC. So how do we, if we want to implement this, then how does it sit in the context of NVC? And how do we live this in nonviolent communication? It's not about, so that's what I meant by really question this and to be able to discuss it with people who are proposing it, unless they are willing to connect and speak about it, it's very difficult. Now, in the last IIT, this is what happened. I think one person brought in something and then also offended, saying that he's a male or something like that. And when the person was called to connect and speak, they are not willing to do that. So it has become something that people have an agenda of introducing it into NBC without really looking into it.
Yeah, the essence of it and spirit of it, like the spirit of
Yeah.
NVC, consciousness of NVC. And I am also kind of, there is something you use the word the DEI also, that how in the US it is political, etc. And what happens in the US unfortunately spreads for whatever it is worth in the whole world, and it impacts. So
Exactly.
it's not just in the US the DEI
Yes.
spoke, and even in India in corporate sector we have a lot of, especially in the corporate sector, there's a lot of conversation about DEI, and there it is more of a, if I may say, is a namesake. It is almost like one tokenism, that is one thing that they say, it is almost like a chip on your shoulder, like we are also doing DEI, that means we are being inclusive, and we are like being generous, or etc etc. But in context of NVC, I'm having a sadness here, Chris, and everyone, that um it just coming to me that our NVC is becoming political. It's like CNVC and NVC, it's all becoming, so we are, so when you said the DEI is like what you call, it's politics in US, etc. I'm like, no, DEI has become the politics of NVC. This is, so yeah, I just feel, because for me, like, when I come to these meetings, I saw suddenly, like, I had a very occupying day, and my mother had an incident. She's she had a nasal bone fracture and all that, and I've been struggling with many things last 3-4 days, and I saw this session, and I come and join this session because for me, coming to NVC, coming to community, coming to the people I know and the people I don't know is like home for me. It is, I feel that kind of deep connection. And that's when I also see the struggle that happens, like, with this DEI. It is just, I just feel such deep sadness. It's like, why, what are we doing? Like, it just makes me, it just pulls my energy down. Yeah, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Any response from anyone?
Yes, I would like to respond to Iris, and thank you what you shared, Vinita, and thanks for joining for everyone. I don't see my response to DEI something I am happy to share with you because I have too much resentment. I can't speak about it with the same peace than Father Chris. And the way I react, it seems to me every 5 years or every couple of years, our network has a big turbulence. Some time ago, we were crazy about sociocracy, group decision. Everyone says their ideas, and then we don't ask, are you happy with this? Or anyone has paramount objection. And then if no one has paramount objection, then we move on and do what. And I was so worried we will be lost in this sociocracy. And now this DEI, and I try to dilute myself with the idea this is just one wave, and hopefully it will not destroy our connection network. Sorry, I'm not a church going person, and church is not something positive in my worldview. Even if I adore you, Father Chris, I never thought I get my most important guidance relation to abortion from a priest. But what I heard from you, Chris, I hope I heard you correctly, that is a compass to me in many questions. And what I remember hearing from you, Chris, if abortion is done in a hospital, then it's part of life. When we have abortion clinics where they are interested in selling their service, then it becomes a big, big problem. And for me, it's the same with arms. Like, so far, we are not there yet, I hope. Someday we will be there when we don't need to produce weapons. But when someone have the weapons, I am a salesperson, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say sorry, but I come from business. I know if my salary depends on how much I sell something, then I will do everything to generate interest. And I see some similarity relation to DEI as well, because good old days, like about 15 years ago, sometimes people try to provoke me by asking me who has never been married, what is the, like how much percentage of certified trainers are divorced? That means those who divorce, that's something wrong. So which kind of community do I belong? And I was, if I felt safe enough, I was so proud to say, darling, since we are welcoming everyone, we don't have only divorced people and we don't have only gays and lesbians, but we even have people who changed their sexual orientations. Maybe from gay to be heterosexual or the other way around, because we don't tell people how they should live. And I remember I was so proud to say this, because for me, this is when we include diversity. We don't care about where do you come from. And for us, thanks to our previous prime minister, this gay and lesbian issue was very hot. And thanks for the young generation, they didn't eat the political bullshit. This was a big part why the previous prime minister lost power. I just want to protect the reputation of my country. So I want everyone to have access from this community to that community. If a man lived with a man, and then they decide to live with a woman, I want it to be an option, not to be put the label for the rest of their life. They were in prison, or they were gays, or whatever. So for me, we will include diverse groups. On one level, I was satisfied with it. Another level, I believe those who were colonized, they may carry some pain, probably it's for sure, and it's important to acknowledge it on a level of a society, and carefully I wish we would create structures that helps to have equal chances. Like, I come from an absolutely non-educated farmer family, and the socialist system says, if you come from a working family, then we will support you. And in theory, I got some privilege, like in the university, like, I don't remember what, because there was a certain level I still had to achieve, but there was the theory. The system wants to support me to study. This part, I loved it. But if I would have been born in a well-educated family, I really hated the system were punishing them. So I wish to have equal chances. That part I agree, and we need to modify our systems without punishing anyone. And this political DEI, it seems to me, it's better if you are not a white heterosexual man with good education, because then you are a bad guy. And one more thing, I try to include Gypsy people for my trainings. Usually most of them are not well financially, not well educated. And one big realization was for me is, in order to be able to sit in a workshop place and focus on something from 9 till 5, a whole day training, that's kind of a luxury if you come from middle class or upper middle class. It depends on your society, because most people, their nervous system, they just can't cope with this much of just sitting and blah blah and learning. So the part I kind of agree with DEI, maybe we could do more for this community. And at the same time, I live in a kind of not the poorest, but rather poor Eastern European country, like poor relation to Europe, like Western Europeans. And I try to survive teaching nonviolent communication, and someone pushing me, what else should I do? Kind of work for free and cheaper. It's a little overwhelming. And I have one more aspect. I hope it pops up in my mind. So I try to understand both sides as much as I can. I am not satisfied how far I got. Yeah. And I am committed and I'm not so proud of it. I would like to organize international trainings and to be very careful. No DEI trainers. I don't want to invite DEI trainers because usually people come with them who are doing what I heard from Father Chris. Just my way, my way, my way, and no real desire to connect. Am I speaking too much or can I share one more aspect?
Go ahead.
Oh, Chris, you are preaching about dialogue and I am offering a long preach. As a certified trainer, maybe I even signed. I confess I didn't sign the trainer agreement without reading it before I serve as an IIT trainer, and it says I cannot have sexual connection with any participant. And I slept with Marshall on my first IIT. And everyone, not everyone, but lots of women were so scared because everyone assumed I am this poor, hardly English speaking Eastern European girl who doesn't know how to say no. And she was seduced by this big, powerful man. And it was very interesting because that was the first time in my life when I didn't do what I should do. I did what I enjoyed doing. And I knew, I assumed Marshall will not remember my name for the next meeting, but I so much enjoyed just to do what I enjoy doing and step out of the good girl attitude. And when we say trainers cannot have sexual connection with participants, my question is, do we empower participants to say no? And I totally disagree with this, but in my view, we should sign the agreement. The trainer supposed to give equal attention to each participant. You can't do it on an IIT with 60 participants or more, or you will never be able to do it perfectly. But when I have romantic feelings towards someone, then my whole mind is about that person, and do I do a decent job? So with these power differences, for me, it's a biggest question. When do we create a structure which protects those who has less power, and does it empower those who has less power? Do we do our best to enable, to connect with their power, those who has less power? Because there is always power differences in my belief system. But when do we strengthen those power differences? And when do we enable those who has less formal or informal power? And I know I am not American, and in Eastern Europe, we don't have this habit of suing everyone. And now I am losing half of the group. And no, there are still some people. So Iris, sorry for the long answer. Did I answer at least? Now I said everything.
Yes. I hear how is it living in you for this, like, DEI issue. Yeah.
How is it
And
for you?
I'm feeling like, yeah, for me, after hearing all, I feels like this is the every action meeting needs. So for the person who wanting to implement this DEI, of course they are meeting some needs. So in the MVC consciousness, there's no right and wrong. And for those who oppose, of course, maybe they have. So both sides, I see both sides have fear. The fear of losing relevance for those who wanting to implement DEI to be more like updated to the world. They think. And then for those who don't want or who scared of like changing the core energy of MEC, who will be opposing because they are also protecting the spirit of Marshall or whatsoever. So I'm seeing both after hearing. And as Father say, if this is really like doing, maybe there is some effect. Like for example, if this DEI really comes in as a something as a class or as a topic in the IIT, maybe they lose someone, but they gain someone. So this is regarding to a choice of those who wanting to participate or not. So yeah, I see that, and then I feel like this is more open because this is life. Somehow an organization have their scare to they wanting to absorb as much members as like what you say. I'm so agree. It becomes a business somehow. If we have this business thinking or intention, then we lost something. But what is right, what is wrong, nobody can say. But I can make my choice whether I will be in this CNVC organization. So I will just go back to myself. If one day CNVC really like implement this in the IIT, or the trainer needs to teach something like that intentionally, then it's my choice whether I feel this is relevant to me. And as in the beginning, all these diversity, equality, and inclusion, actually from what I heard from Ava, this is all and what I say is a being of the trainer. It's a being of not only trainer, it's a being of all and MEC petitioner, which we are, for me at least, this is all I am leaving MEC for. I'm leaving MEC for. I want one day I'm so accept whatever people, then I'm living in the energy of diversity and same equality and inclusion. Yeah, somehow this is what I am cultivating myself, and let my experience in my life every day to add on, and then I can be more fullest living in this aliving energy. So this is what I believe, MEC. So I would only join the organization who also have same will, and this is my choice. It's not my power to decide whether you implement or not. I have no this power, but I have power to make my own choice. So every time come back to this. And I have so many suffering because I'm so power under in the certification path, you know. Everyone, every candidate may have faced this issue. We feel power under in front of the system. And now I also learn and decide that this is not the chance that I give the power to you. And I will take back the power to myself because I don't must need to be certified, right? And I don't want to follow the rules if I don't feel right to. And if this is not supporting leaving my true core energy of MEC, I don't want to go. So I feel more clear after hearing all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Ella, Father, do you have time for another question?
Sure.
I'm reading some book about our Chinese culture now. I mean the philosophies, and once you talk about out of ego there is empathy, something like that. Our true self is empathy. Can you talk more about that? I'm really fond of that, and I try. I guess I sense something about the empathy, but I'm not sure how can I describe it or how. Yeah, I just want to listen to you and how you experience that. Mm.
Yeah. So, is it okay? Iris, are you are you
I'm complete.
are you complete? Complete? Okay. Do you want any response or any reflection from anyone? Yes. So you don't want.
If there is any heart like reflection, I am happy to hear. But if not, then it's okay to move on.
Mhm.
Question of um, Sama.
Mhm.
Now, empathy is a core value of MVC,
No, not
and
empathy, Father. I mean,
because
Father,
what
not
were you talking
empathy.
about?
Yeah, once when we
Ego,
had a dialogue,
ego.
we said out of
Yeah.
ego, what is true
Hmm.
self? You mentioned when we look inside and inside
Yeah.
that there's nothing, empathy, emptiness. So the true self
Emptiness.
is kind of emptiness.
Mm.
So
Emptiness.
yes, emptiness. Yeah. I mean, the true self is emptiness.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So,
Okay. You
so
talk.
yeah. Can you talk more about how you feel about it and your idea about that?
Well, that is what it means is when you really find yourself, you find everything. You find the wholeness. So that means you find, for instance, I always say that empathy is the non-dual presence,
Mm.
right? A moment of experiencing non-dual, right? In that sense, what you mean when you are present to one person, you're not talking about just being attentive to one person, but it means you're opening yourself not only to this person but to all beings, right? That is what I mean by non-dual. Non-dual also it says, for instance, when you find your true self, you find that there is no true self in the sense of because there is only one being. Right? So, like that, the example of the poem of the river cannot turn back, uh, where it simply says that the river, when it reaches the ocean, it trembles and fears because to enter this ocean will be to disappear. And the poem ends by saying it is not that, uh, mm, but the river cannot turn back. But to enter the ocean is not to disappear, but to become the ocean. Right? So, do you understand what I meant by that? So, when you find your true self, in other words, that you find that you are one with the whole being, all right? You are part of it. It, does it make sense? I mean,
Mm.
so it doesn't mean that once you find your true self that you become a huge self, you become a very important person, but you just become, you realize that you are part of everything and the part of
Mm.
whole being. So, which the poem says is in one way true that the river disappears, entering the ocean, but also it becomes the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So the non-dual thinking is also in the same way. When they say that when they found their self, that means they also lose their self. They are not there anymore.
Mm.
In other words, you lose your ego, which is sort of always demanding uh, its presence and demanding this separateness.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Mm.
is also, that is, I think, in the words of Jesus, he says that those who find life will lose it, and those who um, lose their life will find it. So,
Mm.
in other words, entering, becoming one with life, you lose, in some way, you might think that you're losing the individuality, but really you become life itself.
Mm.
So I think that is also the concept of Ramana Maharshi, who is talking about this. Find out who you are. Right? That is finding who you are, then you really when that you are not this you that you are thinking of, the ego that disappears.
Mm. Right now, it's difficult for me to figure out or to understand with the experience. Um, but I'm glad that you point to that emptiness is non-duality.
Yeah,
Yeah. So before I thought emptiness is nothing, but now looks like emptiness is everything.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
So emptiness is nothing and also everything.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So, Father, I'm curious, if I ask who you are, how would you answer?
I don't know. For the present, I'm I'm asking the same question in the sense of I'm in the process of finding out who am I. as everyone is. Right? When you really find out, that means that you find your true self. Then, of course, everything changes. Then, once you find your true self, then, of course, you are not there anymore. That means the ego that has been always so evident is not there anymore. Which will be a real blessing, because most of our problems and troubles come from that ego. So is Eva still there or she's gone?
I'm here, Chris.
So do we end this, or are we here for a couple of hours?
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone else would like to ask or share something? Let's finish it, Chris.
Okay. Thank you. Summer, Iris, Eric, and I'm with my phone. I don't see the people who are there. Summer, you are not on the phone, are you?
I'm on the phone.
Also, okay, that means we have to find out what's the problem with this.
I don't know, but I'm on the phone now. I have no trouble to coming.
Yeah. Phone is no problem, but I think no one was able to have the Zoom on the computer. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much, Eva, for holding this.
Thank you, Eva. Thanks,
So,
everyone.
ladies and gentlemen, next one is going to be the 17th of August at 6 o'clock Budapest time, which might be a little late because it's midnight for Chinese people. And soonish we will discuss with Father Chris when to do the following meetings. We try to do different time zones so it fits here and there. Any marketing for these programs are warmly welcome to invite some more people. Thank you.
Eric,
Bye.
will you go to Budapest on August? Eric, yes or no?
He can't speak.
You will not go. Iris, will you be there?
Where?
Budapest.
No.
No. Okay.
Thank you for the marketing, Summer.
No,
God
I'm
may
just
keep your
checking with
habits.
old friends.
Still, thank you. Let me see if we had a recording.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Chris.
Stop recording.
See you.